Hey guys, it's Sarah here. In this video, I'm going to be going over the starting salaries of a new grad in every state in the year 2020. The reason why I did this video is because for me personally and many people I know, and I'm part of like a lot of nursing groups and stuff like that, and everyone asks the questions, what's the starting salary for a new grad? If you Google it, Google will tell you the average salary for a nurse. That is very different than the starting salary. And many people do the same mistake. They Google and then they're like, yay, I'm going to make this much. They become a nurse and they're not offered anything near that. So when people graduate, they want to know what's acceptable, what state to go in, and different stuff like that. So this is why I made my data. I couldn't get it from Google because Google only gave me the average. So I did a lot of research. I asked a lot of people. I got hundreds and hundreds of answers from new grads who just graduated and what they were offered. I took all these answers combined and I made a spreadsheet. And I'm going to show right here to say what is the starting salary in each state. So here's a few stuff you have to take into account before even going into numbers. Here, I made the list over here. So the first thing you want to take into account is the shift differential over here. What a shift differential is that the way shifts work is usually they're divided into 7 to 3 is considered day shift, 3 to 11 is evening shift, and 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is night shift. So what they do is that they pay you more for evening and even more than that for night. So say, for example, you would ask someone in days how much they made, and then you ask someone in nights how much they made, you would get a different answer. For example, if you do night shift, you could usually get $5-6 an hour more. So my hospital, I get $6,000 a year more if I do night shift. That's something you want to take into consideration, and that would give you more money, but obviously you have to do night shifts and it's harder on people. The next thing you want to take into consideration when calculating money is the experience. An experienced nurse gets a lot more money than someone who's just started off. For instance, my hospital offers $1,000 each year that you're there. So many nurses are there 30 years. So they're getting $30,000 more dollars than what I am. So if I ask them what they get and they give me $30,000 more, and then I graduate and I'm not getting anywhere near there, you got to take that into consideration. The next thing you have to take into consideration is location. This is very important, which is why I made the states, which we're going to go through soon. The way it works is that the higher cost of living, the higher they pay you. So at the end of the day, if let's say someone in California, LA is getting paid much more than someone out, then you also have to take into consideration their rent is more, their food is more, their transportation is more. So at the end of the day, when you do the calculation, you usually get paid according to your living standards, like that. The next thing you want to take into consideration is the degree. For someone who has an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, everyone's going to get paid more. Because most of the hospitals are mandating a bachelor's, it's not so much nowadays, but like for my hospital, if you have a bachelor's, because they want to get magnet status, which is achieved when 80% of their nurses have bachelor's, they give you $2,000 more a year for your bachelor's. So that's also something you have to take into consideration. Some hospitals offer $1 more per hour for a bachelor's, so that you also want to take into consideration. The next point is hospital accreditation. So if you have a hospital that is a well-renowned hospital, like for example, Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, New York Presbyterian, and there's a lot of well-renowned worldwide hospitals. Those hospitals, people may get paid less, but it's like if you work in there, you get a job anywhere you want after that, and you're working in a really great hospital. So they may pay more because it's a good hospital, but they may also pay less because of the name. The next thing to take into consideration is the hours you worked. That is something very important. A lot of nurses, especially in a hospital, they usually do 12-hour shifts 3 days a week. So that equals 36 hours. As opposed to someone in a nursing home could do 40 or even 45 hours. So even though maybe they're getting paid less in a nursing home, the person in the hospital is doing less hours. So you got to take that into consideration. 2 more things. Number 1 is your holidays, overtime, and weekends. So what they do is they pay you time and a half for overtime, holidays, and weekends they pay more for. So if you're comparing salary to someone else and they work on weekends and you work weekdays, that's not a fair comparison. The next point is benefits. So every hospital comes with benefits, and you want to include that. Because if you're going to come home and you're going to be like, oh, I'm only making $50,000, but you also have to include your $20,000 insurance for your family that you're bringing home, your life insurance, and everything else. So it ends up adding up. Some hospitals offer more benefits, less money, like state hospitals, generally more benefits, less money. Some hospitals, more money, less benefits. So basically, you have to take into factor all that. Here, I'm going to go through every state and I'm going to write down the starting salary for new grad in 2020. So take into consideration, this is talking about a nurse with their BSN. It's talking about that they're working 36 to 40 hours a week. And it's talking about what the starting salary for that state is. So you have to realize that a lot of states have like main cities, so those might get paid more or something like that. So for the state, this is what the average starting salary is for that state. It doesn't mean you're not going to get paid more. It doesn't mean you're not going to get paid less. But do your research and take this into consideration. So I wrote down on this paper over here, all the salaries because I can't memorize them. So I'm going to write it down over here. So the first one is Alabama. Alabama's starting salary is $24 per hour. So it'll be right next to it. Alaska is $27 per hour. Arizona is $27 per hour also. Arkansas is $26 per hour. Florida is $26 per hour also. Georgia is $24 per hour. Hawaii, $35 per hour. Idaho, $28 per hour. Illinois, $28 per hour. Indiana, $26 per hour. Iowa, $24 per hour. Kansas, $24 per hour. Kentucky, $28 per hour. Louisiana, $28 per hour. Maine, $25 per hour. Maryland, $28 per hour. Massachusetts, $28 also. Michigan, $27. Minnesota, $34. Mississippi, $23. Missouri, $23 also. Montana, $37. Nebraska, $28. Nevada, $30. New Hampshire, $28. New Jersey, $34. New Mexico, $30. Colorado, $27. North Carolina, $24. Connecticut, $27. Delaware, $32. Tennessee, $24. North Dakota, $28. Ohio, $27. Oklahoma, $22. Oregon, $30. Pennsylvania, $29. Rhode Island, $32. South Carolina, $24. South Dakota, $24. Texas, $26. Utah, 26 also. Vermont is 27. Virginia is 28. Washington, 30. West Virginia, 25. Wisconsin, 27. Wyoming, 27. Okay, so New York, 44/27. And California is going to be 43/51. So the reason why the last two have slashes is just to explain to you how it works. So in New York, it's a main state. New York, it includes a lot of different cities and stuff like that. So New York City is where everyone comes to. It's really expensive, tourist attraction, everything else like that. So in New York City, the nurses are making, like I lived in New York City, $44 an hour starting. $44 to $45 an hour starting. But if you go to New York and you go to Buffalo, you're going to be making 27. So that's also why it's hard to Google, because if you Google and you live in like the more expensive place, you're going to be paying more. That's just how it works. And in California, you have the southern and the northern. So the northern gets paid more than the southern. So the northern is more like $51 an hour starting, and southern is more like $43 an hour starting. So in New York and California specifically, it's a big gap difference because they're those main cities are tourist attractions, really high money. But in general, for all the states, this is pretty much how it is. So this is the starting salaries for most states. What I want you to realize also is that if you're going to look at Idaho and be like, I'm getting $28 here, I may as well go to New York and get $44, or even California and get $51 an hour. You have to realize in New York, taxes are a fortune, cars, everything's just a fortune, food, rent. So you end up coming home with pretty much the same amount of money. So keep that into consideration. So here's the numbers of the starting salary in 2020 for every state. I hope that helps you. Please subscribe below and stay tuned for more videos. Please like this video, write in the comments more videos you want, and thank you for watching. Subscribe.